Hey, wonderful people. It is Mark here from Not Defining. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to see you. Today, I'm going to be giving you a little framework that you can hopefully use to kind of understand whether you might be experiencing denial in your sexuality. As a sexuality coach, I see so many people deal with this really, really tricky issue. And so today, hopefully, these questions will help you to further your understanding. Before I get into it, I just want to make a disclaimer. It is very, very rare that you can find an absolute answer to this question. You know, a lot of us think, am I gay or am I in denial? Am I straight? Am I this? Am I that? Is it denial or is it not? It is not one or the other, okay? There may be aspects of denial. There may be different things going on with you. This video is about exploring that, okay? But I must underline that we're not going to probably reach a set definitive answer to the question because that's not how it works, okay? So just bear that in mind as we go along. The first question to ask yourself, if you're worried that you might be experiencing denial, is, do I have to think myself into being attracted to a certain gender? So sometimes we feel like when we're attracted to a certain gender, it doesn't come instinctively to us. We kind of have to get ourselves there. Yeah, so there might be a thought process. We might have to be in a particular mood. Now, it is not necessarily the case that if you do this, you are in denial. Okay, a lot of bi, fluid, multisexual people will have attractions to different genders based on depending circumstances, on their mood. But if you really feel like you are constantly spending a lot of energy trying desperately to set your mind into being attracted to a certain gender, it may be that there's some denial going on there, and it's just something to look at, okay? The next question to ask yourself is there an attraction to a certain gender which, no matter what you do, you really can't get away from? So a lot of the time, there will be this instinctual attraction to a certain gender. And actually, in reality, we don't really want to be attracted to them, but we just are, okay? Oftentimes we can feel this without having to think. So if you have that and you find yourself then trying to think your way out of it, once again, it may be that there is a bit of denial going on there. The next question to ask is, have you grown up in a homophobic or queerphobic environment? So a lot of the time we just don't see queer people, we don't hear queer stories, or we don't have the opportunity to have experiences with the same gender. And so we can kind of get stuck in a sense of denial where we just live in the straight world, live a straight life, and we never really allow ourselves to experience or explore anything else. Now, there is actually a flip side of this, which not a lot of people talk about, and that is, if there is a gender that you haven't explored, then actually sometimes we can get ourselves into a state of denial or worrying that we're in denial for no reason. I explain what I mean. So let's say that you are a man and you're in a relationship with a woman. You've never explored anything to do with queerness or same-sex attraction. And so you can actually get into a state of worry thinking, oh, well, yeah, but what if? What if I did live in a free society? What if I did have the opportunity? What if I had the opportunity when I was younger, before I got into this relationship? What if there's this huge, big what if? Now, what I see time and time again is that when people get into that state where they're actually able to explore those things, they will do so and be completely underwhelmed, right? there's this narrative in society that if you have any same gender attraction, that you're going to ultimately be gay, and all that needs to happen is you need to break out of the heteronorm and find your true self and come out of the closet, and then you're going to marry a queer person, and that will be you for the rest of your life. Actually, in reality, that doesn't happen all the time. In fact, a lot of the time, it's an anticlimax, because this thing has become like symbolic in your mind. It's been repressed, and you have no information or experience to go off. So you build it up in your mind as this amazing thing, and then the reality of it is actually quite disappointing. So it works in both ways. It's just a dynamic to be aware of. If you haven't had the opportunity to really explore, then there's more chance for a kind of fake narrative to be in your head either way. The next question to ask related to that is, have you talked it out with people who understand? Okay. Denial is a really confusing state of being. It's something where we kind of question what is real and what is not. And oftentimes this comes from being in a situation where we're not able to talk about it. We're not able to get information. We're not able to relate to other people. We're not able to get that feedback and to kind of just verbalize things. Okay, so if you haven't spoken to anyone about your sexuality, then it can be a really good idea to do so if you can. Not Defining is a place where we get it. There are so many people, look in the comments of my videos, who get this stuff. Okay, connect with people. Come join us on Instagram. If you want to speak with me and connect with loads of other people who will be able to understand and relate and mirror you and advise and help you out, come and join our Patreon. The link is above, patreon.com/notdefining. You can get all the support and you can talk things out. Trust me, this is one of the best things you could possibly do if you're worried about being in denial. Just talk about it. And the more you talk, the more clear you will become. The next question to ask is, are you prone to overthinking? Do you have obsessive anxiety? Or do you have a disorder or a condition such as OCD, ADHD, or something else? When we have anxiety, obsessional thinking can be the result. And so oftentimes this is the actual problem when we are in a state of denial. We worry that we're in a state of denial, and we kind of flip-flop back and forth. And we're like, am I gay? Am I straight? Am I gay? Am I straight? Am I in denial? What is real? What is not? And really what is happening there is it's an anxiety. It is a fear. And your sexuality in reality doesn't actually have anything to do with it. It's more about you and healing from your trauma, healing from your anxiety and that fear about yourself, okay? There is a lack of safety. There is a lack of mental stability there, okay? So if you are experiencing those things, just be conscious that healing those, addressing those, getting support for those, is going to probably be the best solution to working this out, rather than endlessly overthinking in a loop about, am I in denial or what have you. The next thing to think about is, are you in a relationship? Now, this might seem an obvious one, but there are two sides of it. So if you're in a relationship, it is quite possible that, of course, you want to stay with that person. Yeah. And so any attractions that you have outside of that relationship, you're going to have more of a justification for kind of being in denial or trying to kind of like brush them under the carpet or something like that. Now, I actually want to say something else on the flip side of this to do with relationships, which I think not a lot of people kind of get. And that is that actually relationships are all the same if they're monogamous, in the sense that what we're doing is we're saying, I'm going to put aside my other romantic and sexual attractions to be with you, right? That's what you're doing in a monogamous relationship, right? And the reality is that people still have attractions. They still have romantic attractions. They still have sexual attractions of all different types. But what we're doing is we're consciously putting them aside so that we can be with one person. So in a way, denial about all of that is quite possible in a relationship, whether you're straight, gay, bisexual, whatever. And so it's quite normal that if you happen to be someone who has attractions to people of different genders, that like that might be a form of denial as well. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to be conscious of. Gender is actually very similar to any other type of attraction. You might be with a tall person, but you're also attracted to short people. Well, you've made a decision. You're not going to ever be with a short person, okay? And so you might kind of just cognitively put that to the side because you've chosen to be with that person. Yeah, and it's fine. People do that all the time. You might be bisexual and you're a man with a woman. You might say, well, do you know what? I am attracted to men, but do you know what? I'm kind of psychologically just parking that because I've chosen to be with a woman. The difficulty is that we put so much emphasis, so much pressure, so much meaning and identity onto the gender of person that you happen to be attracted to that it becomes this existential thing. Scientifically, psychologically, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't work like that. It's just the same as any other attraction. You are a whole person. You are a unique person and you have unique attractions. We all do. Okay? So I just want to say that. And then finally, the question to ask yourself is, if you think about the gender that you are wanting to understand your attractions to, what does your body do? Okay, so when you are attracted to, let's say, men, and you think about being with a man, does your body constrict or does it relax? Okay, do the muscles tense or do they release? Okay, so let's say I'm a man, I've got attraction to men, I'm really gay, secretly in my heart, and I'm in denial and I'm thinking about, I'm going to be with a woman, I'm going to get married and do that. Think about that, notice what happens in your body. Just notice. Just notice what happens in your body. Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel tense? Or does it feel free and flowing and relaxed? Yeah? And then think about being with a guy. What happens in your body? Do you feel excited? Do you feel joy? Do you feel, you might feel fear, but how does it feel? I'm not saying that there's any blueprint for how you're supposed to feel, but listening to your body is a really great barometer of what is right for you. Ultimately, when you're in denial, you are ignoring what is happening in your instinctual self, in your nervous system, in your body. Okay, but your body knows what is right for you. Like I said, if you want help with this, come and get coaching, come and join our Patreon. Please subscribe, we've got loads more content coming out. And if you would like to have more information on denial and some guidance as to kind of how you can approach it and show yourself compassion, and if you are experiencing it, then check out this video. I would really recommend this. Thank you for being here. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye for now.